Boom, sugar looker, ladies and gentlemen, freaks and geeks. Okay, we got JBP, Mr. Jordan B. Peterson, one of the foremost thought leaders of the 21st century. In this Jubilee video, having some conversational jujitsu with a bunch of atheists, and I thought I would break down this conversation he had with an atheist in regards to the question or the statement, everybody worships something even though they might not know it. Let's see how JBP handles this.
Hey, Dr. Peterson.
How you doing?
Danny, nice to meet you.
What's your name?
Danny.
Danny.
Wow, people address him as Dr. Peterson. I've never done that. I've never met someone outside of any official capacity and been like, Doctor. And you know, that's encouraging to acknowledge someone with their title when it's as distinguished as a doctor. Dr. Peterson. And rightfully so. Obviously, he's a doctor. I wouldn't classify that as a real doctor being a psychologist, but hey, let's give him that. Dr. Peterson. I respect that.
You're saying atheists worship things or people or places, whatever. Can you be very clear about your definition of worship again?
Attend to, prioritize, and sacrifice for.
That's perfectly rational. Attend to, prioritize, and sacrifice for. If we're going with that definition of worship, everyone worships. You attend to something, you sacrifice for it. So obviously, if you hold something in high priority, by the sheer fact that you are holding that in high priority, you are going to disavow certain things in trade for the thing that you hold in higher priority. You sacrifice for it. You attend to it. Obviously, that's a good definition. I think everyone worships based on that definition. I think most people, though, when they look at worship, they see some kind of supernatural attitude towards something. But I think in a very classical sense, yeah, we all worship. We all hold something in higher regard. We sacrifice for it. We attend to it. We don't necessarily have to be all sycophantic and be like, oh, you were the most amazing thing ever. I praise the God, Lord Almighty, for your greatness. It doesn't have to be in this spiritual, fervent manner, but obviously we can still worship something. Like I worship dogs. I think dogs are awesome and they are in my highest regard. I think it's fair to say I worship dogs. I also worship beautiful women. I worship friendship, real friendship, the kind of friendship that makes you want to be a better person, that makes you enjoy life. I worship these things and I tend to prioritize these things. And family in the sense that when someone is connected to you from the heart, from the anahata, they become your family. I like the idea that the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. The family that I connect to because I have a combined goal, a mission that's connected to them, transcends any kind of biological connection that we may have. I worship that as well. But anyway, I'm going off course over here. Clearly, I worship things. I think you worship things. I think it's fair to say we all worship things.
Okay, that's it. That's your understanding of worship.
Well, I could flesh it out, but that'll do for the time we have.
Okay, do Catholics attend to Mary?
Yes.
Okay, so do they fit that description of worship?
Yes.
So you would say Catholics and other people that revere Mary, like the Eastern Orthodox tradition, worship Mary.
Well, they might not put her in the highest
But
place.
you would put it that way.
No.
You just said it. Now you're taking it back.
There's
now?
still a hierarchy.
Okay, there's a hierarchy, but within the
There's something at the top.
All right, you can worship things
Mary
below.
is quite a ways up the hierarchy, but not at the top.
Let's go over your definition of worship again. What's your definition of worship?
Attend to.
Attend to.
Prioritize.
Do
And
Catholics
sacrifice for.
What do Catholics attend to?
Okay, I see what this guy's doing over here. It's very clear, it's implied, and he also stated somewhere down the line that there is a hierarchy here. You can worship something, but it doesn't mean that that is your highest priority. I mean, there is a priority. Obviously, I worship dogs, I worship women, but there's going to be one that is in your highest priority. You can worship many things in this definition. But the one thing that you worship above all, I think, which is the definition he's going for, does not need to be the only thing that you worship. You can worship more than one thing. It has a priority, granted, but you can have priorities.
Do they prioritize Mary over all other human beings?
No, I didn't say overall, did I? I didn't add that to my definition.
You understand?
I said there was a hierarchy as well.
You attend
So you can attend to something trivially, or you can attend to it deeply.
Okay, now you're adding stuff to the definition. But your original definition...
I added the hierarchy part at the beginning.
Are you
just
familiar?
didn't understand it.
Are you familiar with the Immaculate Conception?
Why is that relevant?
Because you go to a Catholic church, don't you? Or you've attended recently. You're interested in Catholicism, aren't you?
Sure.
All right. Are you familiar with their doctrines?
Somewhat.
Okay, you're
Their
familiar.
doctrines are very
How do they
deep.
regard Mary?
Why are you asking me that?
Because you're a Christian.
You say that. I haven't claimed that.
Oh, what is this? Is this a Christian?
This is interesting. One of the things that Jordan Peterson is known for doing is this particular question, when he's confronted with it, whether or not he's a Christian. There have been times that pretty much in every situation that I've seen, he never gives a definitive answer. There's been one situation where he pauses for a long time, feels like an eternity, only to give a convoluted answer. And his general stance is that if you're acting as if you were Christian, then that's all that matters. The way that you act out your belief system is more important than what you actually believe, which I guess holds some psychological truth. Most people say they believe something, but the way in which they act is not consistent with that. It's like a performative contradiction. It's like someone saying they don't believe in free will, a lot of the determinists that make this argument, but act as if they do, so it becomes nullified. So it's interesting because with this particular question, he never gives a direct answer, and I don't really see the relevance of this question in this debate because, I mean, the title is saying Jordan Peterson versus 20 atheists, not a Christian versus 20 atheists, but I think a lot of people, they view Jordan Peterson as being synonymous with Christianity. That's a difficulty that is in the era of people. A lot of times people can't separate an individual from their ideology. Jordan Peterson is an individual. He doesn't represent, clearly, atheist worldview, and neither does he represent Christian worldview. He represents himself. And this is a difficulty I think a lot of people struggle with. They cannot separate someone from an ideology. All people can really do is represent themselves. And I think Jordan Peterson is representing himself here. And understandably, he doesn't want to be pigeonholed into a belief system when he himself is still wrestling with this question. At least I've heard him say on many different podcasts and so forth.
Versus atheist?
I don't know.
You don't know where you are right now.
Don't be a smartass.
Well,
and I mean
either you're a
'cause I
Christian
won't
or you're
talk
not.
to you if you're a smartass.
Oh, either you're a Christian or you're not. Which one is it?
I could be either of them, but I don't have to tell you.
That's a very valid point. I mean, he doesn't. One of the things I hate in debates is people ask you questions thinking that you're somehow obligated to respond when they're personal. I mean, Jordan Peterson doesn't have to respond. Someone can ask you whatever the fuck they want to ask you. You don't have to respond to it. It's a personal question to him. If someone asked me what my sexuality was, if someone asked me what my age is, what my IQ is, what my address is, obviously I don't have to give that information out. Now, granted, it might help them in making the argument. I don't have to give that. And more importantly, it's not going to help you if you're being antagonistic about it. Anytime someone is antagonistic towards me and they ask me a question, my general go-to is, go fuck yourself. Es my date. My number one answer to people if they are being antagonistic and then they're asking for information just to make their point is, es my date. That's my answer to you. And I think, obviously, Jordan Peterson is a bit more sophisticated in his response. Won't be saying es my D, but bottom line is he doesn't want to answer that question, understandably.
You don't have to tell me. I was under the impression I was invited to talk to a Christian. Am I not talking to a Christian?
No, you were invited to.
I think everyone should look at the title of the YouTube channel. You're probably in the wrong...
That's interesting. Maybe they were invited to this. I mean, I saw at least some people nodding along with him when he said he was invited. This guy said he was invited to talk to a Christian. Maybe they were invited to talk to a Christian. They were told one thing, but the title of this video, at least I'm saying, is Jordan Peterson versus 20 atheists, not a Christian versus 20 atheists. So Yeah, sometimes people misrepresent you, and I guess that's the fault of the organizers of Jubilee. Shame on you, Jubilee, misrepresenting what this debate was about. Tell one person something, tell someone else something else. But I really don't think it's relevant to the question here, which is that everybody worships something even though they might not know it.
YouTube video,
You're really quite something, you are.
aren't I? But you're really quite nothing.
I like that. That was so movie-esque. You're really quite something. And then in response, oh, you're really quite nothing. That guy did not skip a heartbeat. That's like, oh, that is a cheap jibe. That is such a movie-esque kind of response. You're really quite nothing. Oh, wow. That is, them be fighting words. Suffice to say, I would be very annoyed if someone said that. It'd be interesting to see how Mr. Peterson responds to this.
Right, you're not a Christian.
Okay, I'm done with him.
I understand, and that's the best thing to do, I think. When someone steps out of line, says something that is just inappropriate or not worthy of your time, they've shown you that they are not arguing in good faith. Because there are two ways to debate. You can have a conversational jujitsu session. This is kind of like just free form. It's fun. I'm very detached in the conversations that I have. At least I try to be. It's not emotional. But when it becomes emotional, when it becomes personal, and you can see that someone is arguing for the sake of arguing, they're not arguing in order to gain a better understanding of what's going on. They're just arguing to win. And look, in fairness, this is a debate. It is, the whole purpose is to put forth a different perspective. But when you become vindictive, when you start attacking someone's character like that, my general attitude is, look, you're not worthy of my time. I mean, granted, you could say, hey, look, this is for a public debate. Maybe it's worth my time to engage in this conversation for the benefit of other people. But my general attitude now is I value my time, my own self-worth too much. And if someone is arguing in bad faith, is being pernicious, my general go-to is you don't get to talk to me anymore. This is something I've become somewhat of a black belt in now. If someone is saying something that is shitty, has sent me a shitty message, and I can straight away see their intent, it's not coming from good faith, or we've been having a conversation, then they say something that's very clearly out of line, something that is a personal attack, my general attitude is not even to respond. I mean, I might just respond with one final message, but then I'm not responding again. I don't read any messages that they've sent. I don't talk to that person. I cut off immediately. Even if it's in a professional capacity, I mean, obviously you got to do what you got to do, but if I don't need to be in conversation with someone and you've shown me that you don't value my time and you're arguing in bad faith and you cross the line, I just walk away. You don't get to talk to me anymore. And I think Jordan Peterson has the sophistication and has the awareness as to what this guy is doing, that he's made that intelligent decision. A lot of the times people get so caught up wanting to debate that they forget the psychology behind this. And obviously Jordan Peterson is the psychology master, right? Or Dr. Peterson. And my perspective towards this is that if you give someone your energy after they have shown you that they don't value you, particularly when you're someone of higher standing, you're basically showing them that you value them greatly, that their words have influence over you. But if you don't care and you hold yourself to be in higher standing, you simply cut up. You say, well, listen, I'm being generous simply talking to you, being very amicable over here. If you're not going to respect me, the right approach is to show you, rightfully so, that I don't value you. You're this. Your penis is this small. Your intellect is this small. And you're not worthy of my time. I think that's the right response. And I thought Jordan Peterson handled that extremely, extremely well. Oh! Let us know in the comments below what you think about that. And what do you think about Jordan Peterson's claim everybody worships something even though they might not know it? I agree with that. I think there's always something that we hold in highest priority. I think you can worship many things. But if we're going with Jordan Peterson's definition, which is simply just to hold in high regard, to sacrifice for, to attend to, absolutely, we have priorities. Of course, there's a hierarchy we prioritize. I mean, we love, what do they say? Country, king, God. I think this is the classical model to pay reverence towards your country, towards your family, towards your your God. Now, I would say that the highest priority is God, and I personally don't pay any worship towards my country. My country is the world, and my religion is to do good. But these are the things that I worship, if I'm being realistic here. I guess in a more kind of personal level, I worship dogs. I worship beautiful things. I worship creativity. I love the idea of being of service towards the manifestation of creative ideas. But on a more ideological level, I worship God. I worship the idea of the unifying field. God, Krishna, Buddha, Allah, call it what you will, in service to the truth. My religion is to do good. I don't identify, like Peterson, I don't like calling myself a Christian. Reason being, because I find the word often is misunderstood and you are immediately categorized into a particular belief system. And most people have a very different idea of the word Christianity, than what I believe. I don't believe in Christianity as a religion because it's something that was made up. I mean, Christ obviously was not a Christian. Christ was someone that had attained the Christos. It is a state of enlightenment. It is to have the Spirit of God working through you, to have that light, that spark that has expressed itself. The Logos is manifesting itself through you. And I think it's something that is attainable. I believe the kingdom of heaven is within. If I'm going to be more practical, I take on a more Gnostic approach towards Christianity. I believe that there is a guiding blueprint, an inner understanding in regards to truth that is found within us. And through Gnosis, we can arrive at this understanding. But I definitely don't feel comfortable saying that I worship Christianity, but I do worship the idea of the Christos, and I worship God. And fundamentally, I believe in truth. There is no religion higher than truth, and there is no greater or more beneficent force in the universe than that of pure, unselfish love. Love is truly the thing that I worship the most. Leaving it there, ladies and gentlemen, as I always say, there are three things that cannot remain hidden for long: the sun, the moon, and the indisputable fact that we all worship at the altar of something. You got to find out what that thing is. Signing out, your boy Krishool. Peace!
I don't even care where this